Hello and welcome to Craft and Chat. Excuse me. This week on Wednesday. Thank you so much for your patience. My computer decided to update itself, switch itself off, restart itself, all as I'm trying to go live at 2 o'clock. So apologies if you've been sat waiting for me to be here. I was here, just not live. As you can tell, because I've already coughed, I'm nearly better. Just almost better. But any kind of lengthy talking or going between hot and cold rooms and things, and my cough starts. So, blimey, it's it's been over 2 weeks now. So please don't get any of the bugs that are going about. You really don't want them. So hello to Rob. Thank you for being patient and waiting. And hi, Claire. Claire, did you see my email? I think I've answered the question, but we need to double check a couple of things. Okay, good to see you. Lots of things to chat about today. We have, obviously, the awesome joining offer, which I keep talking about and will continue to talk about all the way through October. But joining Stamping Up at any time is a really good time. But right now, you can join for £35 for my UK friends. And you can pick £130 worth of products. So that's £95 extra. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So if you have something on your list that is more than £35, please join. You get a whole heap of additional benefits. Crafting with my community and the Stampin' Up community, getting to see sneak peeks like, the January catalogue in about 3 weeks' time. Being able to order things early, getting a discount, coming to my team events. Honestly, you would be crazy not to join. Absolutely, you would be crazy not to join. And this week, so we've had a lot of people joining the team, personally joining me, but also joining the extended team. And the most common question that I've received since last we spoke is, Amanda, can I still do your classes and events if I join your team? Absolutely, yes, you can. And in fact, some of those events are cheaper because you are a team member. And some of them you don't pay for at all because you're a team member. So please don't feel that, you become a demonstrator and then you can't be part of my customer community anymore. Absolutely, you can, and you can be both. That's absolutely fine. So there we go. So that is that. So let's see who else is here. Donna's here. Good. Sound and picture is all good in Oz. Thank you. Excellent. Claire got my email. That's good. Thank you, Margaret. I'm nearly better. I am nearly better. Claire's suggesting a ginger juice and vitamin C shot. Blast those germs. Oh, a work colleague brought us some in last week. Yeah, I have been seriously dosing up with the excuse me, with the vitamin C. But I just haven't been able to shake it. And the worst thing for me is when you got cotton wool in your brain, and I'm sure you can all relate to that, just means that everything that I've been trying to do for work is just so painful and so slow. And I'm used to working really quickly. So it's very frustrating. But, you know, we're getting there. Lorraine, hello. Lovely to see you. She's from Australia. Thank you for joining. It must be late there for you as well. I know Donna's here and it's crazy late. So thank you for joining us in your evening. So a few things to show you today. Monday and Tuesday this week, I was at a couple of Stamping Up events in exotic Solihull. Having never been to Solihull before, I kind of, in my head, it was kind of, you know, it's attached to Birmingham, but it was so beautiful. It was really leafy and green and some really lovely shops. I didn't actually get to shop in the shops, but I walked past the shops. Yeah, it was really lovely. So I'm definitely going to be going back there at some point, probably for shopping. So yeah, so that was really good. So whilst we were there, there was some crafting going on and some swapping. Now, when we go to Stamping Up events, we make cards, 3D items projects, and we swap with other people and we get ideas. Now, normally I always swap. As I may have mentioned already, I have been sick for 2 weeks. I had no swaps. But people were really kind and gave me swaps without me giving them anything in return apart from a thank you. So there were 3 of my team there yesterday. So I'm going to show you theirs first. So this is from Mel, and this is a suite of products that I don't have. So I love to get samples. So it's a treat holder with the lovely little gingerbread man. And inside it, one of the best bits, is a Kit Kat. But not any old Kit Kat. Can you see that? Gingerbread. Oh, come on, camera, focus, focus, focus. Gingerbread flavour. I'm very excited about that. So I will report back next week when I've eaten that. Talking about eating, this was from Catherine, and it was Catherine's birthday yesterday. And it's this lovely little box. Look, the little tiny cake in there. I'm really excited about that too. I'm going to be having that with a cup of tea when I've finished here. And then this was from Yolanda. So these are the 3 that I have of my team. And those of you that have been around me for a while will know that I love blue. Okay, if Amanda's going to make a card, it's going to be blue. How have I missed the fact that we've got blue glitter paper in the catalogue? How have I missed it? I kind of know how I've missed it because I said to Yolanda, where is it? And it is one of the sweets, and it's the Peaceful Garden suite. There we go. There's the Peaceful Garden suite, and there is blue and silver, and I'm guessing black. Oh, dark grey. Oh, no. Blue, soft green, and dark grey. Glimmer paper. Now, the reason I've missed it is because I'm not actually using those papers until my December class. So I hadn't even looked at it. So needless to say, that's on my order. The things that you miss in the catalogue. And then I got a few more cards, which is really lovely. So they're all in cello, so I need to take them out so I can tell you who they are made by. So this is from Beverly Drew, and this has got the Extraordinary Flora washi tape. And this actually is the wreath from Traditions of Christmas, which is really lovely. Then we've got, I won't need to take that one out actually. That's from Diane. And that's the modern Christmas. And I love that, the angles that she's done. So expect to see some cards like that. So thank you, Diane. This one is, there's no name on here. So the website is the Stamping Booth. One of my favorite stamp sets. It's really lovely. And, oh, two more. This is from Tracy from Derby, which is really lovely. It's got, can you see, tone on tone stamping there, which always makes a really lovely background. And then finally, this is from Cheryl, and this is the Love and Courage stamp set. Now this is one of our charity-based stamp sets. It's really, really lovely. Makes beautiful cards and great for fundraising as well. So thank you to all those lovely people who took pity on me to give me some beautiful cards. Because, you know, I had nothing to share apart from a smile. Oh, Lorraine, so it's 11:20 in Queensland. Blimey, you're a night owl then. I would be snoring if it was that time in the UK. Oh dear. Okay, so what do we have to talk to you about today? The crafting that we're going to be doing is using a specialty paper. Now this specialty paper is this one down here, and in the catalogue it kind of doesn't look that interesting because it just looks like it's white, but you can see it's actually been used up here, and it's called Irresistible Designs. And actually what it is, and let me see if I pick it up, pick one of the sheets up, see what the camera does when we try and focus on it. Nothing. Ooh, can you see that at all? Ah, look. Ooh, I need to go on a course of how to, there, look, can you see, you can see that now? Can you see it reflecting? So basically this paper is a white paper or white cardstock that has got clear embossed designs on it. Now we can replicate this by using stamps, Versamark ink, clear embossing powder to make backgrounds, but Stampin' Up have done it for us. The pack comes with 3 different designs. So we've got like a crosshatch, leaves and flowers. And I promised to showcase these papers with my awesome customers that were part of my In Colour Club this year. So every year we get 5 new In Colours in the May catalogue, and every year I offer the opportunity to build up that collection of products over 5 months. So each month I send out cardstock, markers, ink, re-inker, some gems, some patterned paper. But at the end of the 5 months, there's always a bonus. And this was part of their bonus, along with some gems. So what I said that I would do is I would showcase the papers. So that's what we're going to do today. So I've got 3 similar but slightly different techniques, 3 cards. So I better get move on. Otherwise I'm going to run out of time. Yes, Donna, they are really talented crafters and super kind for sharing with me. Right, so let's do that. Move that. Switch the camera. Yay. Okay, right. I think I've got everything. I'm going to need some grid paper out though, because I'm going to make a mess otherwise. So I'm going to start out with this paper, and this is like the crosshatch, and probably my favorite Christmas set of the moment, or the one that I'm using the most at the moment, to be fair, which is Delicate Pines. So I'm just going to start out by stamping this snowflake. Now this does come with a set of dies that you can absolutely die cut this, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to quickly fussy cut it, just so I didn't have to bring my cut and emboss machine upstairs. It will only take a second. And I think sometimes it's good to see that, because I see that you can kind of just cut things out. I appreciate that not everybody has a cut and emboss machine. You know, they are an investment piece, particularly when you're starting out crafting. But actually, here's a suggestion. When I've been talking about joining, one of the things I've been talking about is joining with the £35 offer. But there is a £99 offer. You get the same amount of free stuff, so you get £95 free, but it means £99 plus 95 is 194. Good maths. 194, and actually you can get a cut and emboss machine if you wanted to. So you could use the higher value offer. My recommendation has consistently been to everyone to get the £35 offer, because if you do that, you've then got, so that obviously there's a difference in price between the 35 and the 99. That's £60 you can use in your first order, and you'll get your 20% discount off. You'll earn rewards on it, and it starts going towards your quarterly minimums, which is a win all around. Ew. That was a bit rubbish. Look at that. Let me try stamping that again. There we go. This is one of my favourite sentiments of the moment. Warmest winter wishes. Certainly for us here in the UK. Not so much for my Australian friends, because you're going into summer. But for us, having warmest winter wishes is really nice sentiment. So I've got a pretty peacock card blank. I've got a basic white layer. Let me just stamp that on the inside, because we always need something on the inside. There we go. So that's the inside. So now what I want to do is cut this paper. So as a general rule, you want to cut this to the size it's going to be finished. But if you are going to cut it into mats and layers once you've colored it, I would leave it in the biggest piece you can. The reason for that is it gives you more surface area to work on. So if you work on something that's small, it can slip and slide about. Okay, so I have a blending brush, and I'm just going to start out. I'm going to use the pool party first, which is the lighter. Hang on, let me just bring it there. Oh, Mum's here. Hi, Mum. Pauline to everyone else, but Mum to me. Okay, so I'm using a blending brush, and I'm just going to very lightly go over the top of this card. And what we're going to do, I'll just get a bit more ink on there, and then I will lift it up. And actually, you can probably see it. But can you see, look, the pattern is coming through. So basically what's happening is where the shiny bits are, that is resisting, and the paper or the cardstock underneath it is actually holding the ink. So I am just going to add a bit more. I'm not going right to the edge because I want the sort of tonal effect. What I might do is just add in a little bit, not too much, of the Pretty Peacock. So you've got the lighter and the darker. There we go. Pull up a bit more. There we go. Okay. So that is the very basic, easiest way of using this paper. If you get a little bit of tissue and just go over the top, just rub gently. Can you see there's a little bit of colour there? And any ink that is sort of sat on the top of the glossy bits, you'll just take that off. Hi, Judith. How are you doing? So we're going to pop that down. And the same with this. And then we'll just get those layers stuck onto the card. Oh, now, something I learnt today, as one of my team was asking. I know that not everybody can comment here on YouTube. And some people are join on Facebook and some people join on YouTube. So Facebook is straightforward in the sense of you're logged in and you can comment. YouTube is exactly the same, but not everybody logs in when they use YouTube. But what I didn't realize until I was talking to one of my team today was that if you use YouTube on a device, and a device being your phone or an iPad or a tablet, something like that, then you need to use the app and be logged in, and that will make a difference. Okay, so there's card number one. Very simple bit of using of a blending brush. Obviously, you could use sponges. You could use sponge daubers, but just be gentle with it. If you, particularly sponge daubers, if you dab your sponge dauber in the ink and go straight to the card, you can end up with like a blob. So just go softly with it. That's why I like using the blending brushes best. So that's the first one. Second up, let me just let's get rid of the dangerous stuff first. So next up, we are going to use this one. This is leaves. Now, I am going to make a birthday card with this one. And I've just got a Z-fold card. So it's just a standard card size. And basically, I've scored the front in half. Okay, so I'm going to have 2 layers here and a third layer here. So earlier I said one of the things that you need to do when you're putting color onto something is to make sure that you're working on the biggest piece possible. So I know that this is 2 inches wide. So I'm going to write it down so I can work it out. 1 3/4 inches twice for these pieces. And actually, I'll do the same there. So 1 3/4. So that is 3, 4 1/2, 5 1/4 inches. So I'm going to make sure that I've got a 5 1/4 inch piece. And it needs to be 5 1/2 inches tall. And then what I will do is once I've coloured it, I'll then cut it down to fit onto these layers. So obviously, these are leaves. I'm going to use some green. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use water. So I've got an aqua painter and I've just put water in my lid. And what I'm going to do is just go over the whole of this piece of cardstock with this water painter. Now, most cardstock doesn't really like a lot of water. So you really don't want to keep going over it with lots and lots and lots of water. What you want to do is get as much colour with as little water on as you can. So there we go. I've put a bit more ink on, look. And there we go. It's pretty much all coloured in. So I'm just on this sort of final run through, I'm just going to put a bit more green here at the bottom and then going up. And you can you see there are little dots here? This is where the paper's starting to pill. So just don't keep going over and over it. But again, you can see the way that pattern is resisting. You can use your tissue again and just blot it and just lift up any extra water. I've got my little heater beside me. So I'm going to put it on my heater, and then I'm going to come back to this in a minute because we're going to add some additional colour. But obviously what I've done is use the water painter, but equally you could spritz it and drop ink on it. And you'll be able to see in a minute, I'm actually going to do a little bit of painting as well. So we're going to come back to that when it's dry. So we'll move that out of the way. And we will carry on with the final card, which, can you tell what we're going to be doing? How can we not have a rainbow? If you're gonna play with colours, everybody needs to have a bit of a rainbow. So there are lots of blending brushes. I've got a thick white card blank. I've actually got a bit of Highland Heather card. I don't know if I'm going to use that yet. Oh, and I've got some gems, so I need that. So for this card, I am using this one. So this is the third pattern. Trying to show you. You'll be able to see it in a second. It's flowers. So I am going to, again, cut the card front full size, and then I haven't yet decided. We might cut this into strips. We will see. So we've got the embossed paper. So we're going to start going from left to right. So I've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Ooh. Find the right brushes. Okay. And I'm going to work diagonally. So I'm going to start in this top corner, and you can see almost immediately the way that color is is resisting. So that's that one, orange. And the trick when you're doing this kind of rainbow is just to go over that join line just with a little bit, just gently, so that the colors kind of mix in. Obviously now I'm going to use yellow, which is a bit lighter. So I'm going to get the color down first, so it's not actually touching the orange. So this is daffodil and that's pumpkin pie. But once I've got that color down, then I'm going to just go over the blending line. And we can always go back in with a bit more color if we need to. But I'm pretty much halfway with the colors. And you can see I'm almost halfway across the card. So we can go a little bit further. Like so. Then we've got Granny Apple Green. So I don't know whether I said the colours first. So Poppy Parade, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Azure Afternoon. They're all in the bright. And then I've gone for Highland Heather. I could have gone for pretty much any of the other purples, but I tend to use, on this kind of rainbow, I tend to go with Highland Heather because it kind of blends in with the blues and the greens a bit better. So there we go. So that's Granny. Azure Afternoon. Such a bright blue. There we go. What do we think of that as a rainbow? So I'm going to use my tissue again and just go over the top and just give it all a little bit of a polish. It's just such a great way of using different colors, but having those images pop. Now, obviously, I've gone for kind of a traditional rainbow, but you could just go for different shades of a color or go for like a sunset or a sunrise. All of those things would work. So what I'm going to do with this one, I think, is cut this down. So let's just, I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to cut a little strip off first that we can use on the inside. And then cut this in half. I've got 2 sections, and then turn it around, and then let's go for that, and then a little square at the top. So then I've got different shapes or different sizes there to sort of offset. Thanks, Margaret. Okay, so let's, I've got ink all over my fingers now. Let's go with that card blank, which is there. So let's see. I'll put that there. That there. Just checking that it's all gonna fit. So I may have to trim it a little bit off the bottom. I thought I might, and I will. Okay, so I need to take quarter of an inch off the bottom to make it fit. That's not too bad. There we go. So let's get the Tombow. Meantime, my leaf paper just curled up completely. Just bear with me a second while I just stick it underneath the catalogues. Try and get it to flatten out a bit. I've got a little oil-filled radiator underneath my desk upstairs in my studio. It just, because I'm not up here for that long, I've got this live and then I've got a team live at 4 o'clock. It's just enough just to take the chill off the room without having to sort of heat the whole of the upstairs. It just kind of seems a bit crazy when no one's up here. So that's that. And of course, I've kind of gone with squares and rectangles. But that card that Diane made, where's that one gone? Here we go. You could do the same where she's actually cut a section there. She's cut that bit diagonally first and then those two pieces. And actually, Diane was saying that I was the first person to introduce her to Stampin' Up! About 18 years ago. Now, for those of you that don't know, Stampin' Up! Launched in the UK in 2007. And I signed up on the very first day. There's actually only 2 of us in the UK now that are still active demonstrators that signed up on that first day. Me and my friend, the lovely Michelle. So, yeah, so middle of next month, middle of November, I'll be celebrating my 18th Stampin' Up! Birthday. It's pretty cool. So let's just put this little tiny, such a teeny strip. But honestly, that's enough, isn't it? Look. How cool does that look on the inside? So we need to put a sentiment there, and I need to clean that and decide what I'm going to do. And I think a bit of Highland Heather. Shall we do that? On some white and then some Highland Heather. I'm not sure which colour is going to work best, so we'll see. Oh, actually, yeah, I think that might work, because what I can do then is mount it on the Highland Heather and put it down at the bottom near the Highland Heather. And it will be like somebody had designed it. Oh, that is so wonky. Straight's overrated, I get that, but some days you want things to just look a little bit straighter. Okay. Ooh, and for those of you that are always looking for punches to go with your sentiments, so you don't have to cut them out, you don't have to use a die, there is a new punch coming in November. What do we think? I think that's pretty cool, because it's just pulling that there. So let's get some dimensionals on there. I have got some sparkles to add. Let's pop that there. And you can see all of the angles and things. Where are the rhinestones? Let's add a few of those. I'm going to add some onto the snowflake card as well. There we go. So that's that one. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, Judith. And then once I've got these, once I've got these cards down, I will close up those ink pads, because that is a disaster just waiting to happen. And then I'll get that final card done. You know what's going to happen, don't we, love? I'm so going to stick my fingers in there. All right, let's just turn that over and get that piece of card out. Okay, so it has, it's still a bit curly. So, got my water painter back. And now you can see, obviously, you've got the resist there. But what I can do now is just go over some of those leaves and add in a little bit of extra ink. So what that's going to do, it's going to give you shade and tone and sort of reinforce that resist. You see? We're just going to do that. I'm just going to go over them. So it just gives you a little bit of extra depth. And you can do all of them. You can do some of them. When I tend to do this, it's really, I find it really therapeutic just to sit here and colour them in. So to be fair, I shall probably do all of them. But you can see I'm not being hugely accurate with it. I don't think you need to be. I'm just sort of adding in a little bit of extra colour. Hi, Glenda. Now it's going to look darker at the moment, obviously, because this is wet. It will dry. So I always recommend you go and look at the blog post that accompanies this. Now, obviously, I'm all behind at the moment. So the last two blog posts for the last two craft and chats have not appeared on my blog yet. So there's going to be a flurry in the next week or so where I sort of get caught up. But if you go over to my website, let me just put that link up there, because then you'll be able to see it. It's inspiringinking.com. If you go to my website, you'll see lots of creative inspiration, but the things like craft and chat, I always put pictures up of all of the completed projects, because sometimes obviously you don't see everything because I'm live and I'm just waiting for things to dry or finish off. Nearly done, look. And the awesome thing about this as well is, yes, I can absolutely make this kind of paper myself. I can absolutely get a leaf stamp and use my Versamark and my clear embossing powder and just take the time step by step to to make my own paper. But Stampin' Up have done it for me, so I'm going to use that. Okay, so let me get rid of that banner. Okay, so we've got the card base. There's just a standard card base, and I have cut it, folded the front in half. And then I'm just going to cut this into 3 panels. Ooh. And this is absolutely going to need to be squashed. So you can see it's quite curly, look. So I'm going to use plenty of Tombow. and put it down. But if it starts to lift, then I will just squash it under a pile of books and it will sit flat. So we've got those 2 panels there. And then on the inside, I'm going to put this panel on, and you'll see in a minute, it will kind of, when the card front is folded, it'll all kind of follow on from the previous bits of pattern. So stick. And then I'm going to use just a great big happy birthday. I'm not going to use any other imagery because ultimately I want this paper to be what's going to shine. But you see that will kind of follow like so. Then we've got this enormous happy birthday. So this is from Layered Thoughts. So I'm going to use the garden green ink. Oh, or am I? No, I'm going to use the early espresso ink for the happy birthday, and I'm going to layer it onto garden green. Let's give it a squash. Yeah. I'll use my trimmer, I think, this time. I don't think I'm going to be able to cut this one straight. That is 2 by almost 4. 2 1/4. Thank you, Claire. There we go. So I've got a garden green layer and an early espresso layer, or early espresso stamping. So that's just going to go on there like that. And then what we're going to do is pop that down. I'm going to have to trim it. Darn. That was too wide. Too wide. The card's 4 inches. It's okay. We can make it fit. It's only cardstock. We can always make things fit. Oh, Lorraine, thank you. She's saying she's needing toothpicks to open her eyes, which is not really surprising because it's after midnight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and hopefully we'll see you soon. So there we go. We're just going to line that up centrally. And then it's going to work like that. So let me show you all 3 cards. So first up, we had a lovely Christmas card. Then we've got using water and the aqua painter and some rainbow. So there we go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I also understand it's Wednesday this week. I will be back on my normal Tuesday at 2 o'clock. All of the products that you've seen today can be purchased in my online store. If you head over to inspiringinking.com, you'll be able to find all of the links, a link to my online store, and lots of information to be able to see lots of other tutorials, creative inspiration, lots of things to see there. Please subscribe as well if you're on YouTube or Facebook, so you can follow me on Facebook and you can subscribe on YouTube. Brilliant. Thank you. I am so pleased that you've enjoyed today's cards. I will be back here next week and I will see you then. Take care. Goodbye.